let's move on now to the Green Bay Packers and our key player series. And Ryan and I, we're going to break down why Jordan Love is going to be the main factor, a main player on the overall success of the Green Bay Packers, and whether they advance to the playoffs and potentially compete for the NFC North or keep falling down the rankings and maybe they start looking for a new franchise quarterback. But before we do that, if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and also ring that bell to get notified when new Packers content is released. Ryan and I, we have a bunch of series coming up here as we lead into the training camp and also to the preseason of Packers content and predicting what they're going to be doing in 2023. And also when the 2023 season starts, we're going to have weekly prediction videos of how we think the Packers are going to do week in and week out. So the easiest way to get those videos and to get notified is to ring the bell and subscribe. And Ryan, let's get into it here.
Let's do it.
Jordan Love, it was obvious that he's going to be the guy because the first year as a full-time starter, Aaron Rodgers, that is just another chapter that ended in the Green Bay Packers franchise. Jordan Love is going to be the guy moving forward here. And this one was easy kind of for us on picking which player to focus on because it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough when they hand the reins over to Aaron Rodgers. They did not really do too well his first year, as just like it would be for anybody. It's one thing to kind of be in the league for a couple of years, backing up, kind of seeing it from a side, but then to play week in, week out, keep getting banged up, that's going to be different. So it's going to be very interesting to see how consistent he is, seeing how much he has developed from when we first saw him famously get drafted and how it was kind of hilarious. And now seeing him improve. And I remember when I saw him play in Philadelphia this year, once when Aaron Rodgers went out, absolutely blown away. Was blown away on the overall improvement. Didn't look like the same quarterback. And he now has, could you say, well, I don't want to say the best receiving room that the Packers have had in a little while, but
say the most well-rounded.
Yeah, most well-rounded. I think that's fair. It's better than last year. All these guys were rookies, and so they didn't really have anybody else.
That's kind of hard to say. They did lose Al Lazard and Randall Cobb. Not that those guys were huge contributors, but they do have Romeo Doubs, and then but
they were rookies, and they definitely started to. They had to get their sea legs. Essentially. Now they're veterans. Christian Watson is a legit threat, extremely lethal, and how quick he is, how powerful Jordan Love's arm is. I think that could be a combination that we could see all season. And so same thing with Romeo Doubs. They spent a lot on the receiver room, which I find just ironically hilarious now that Aaron Rodgers isn't there. So, and that's why I think it's going to be huge for Jordan Love as well to do well this year. Similar to Justin Fields, we just did that video, and I'm sure it's out, so be sure to go check that out after this video. But they're giving him a lot of weapons, a lot of opportunity here to show if he's going to be the guy or not. And so even if they don't end up making the playoffs, but you can see the gradual improvement throughout the season, but also just the gradual improvement from what he was when he came into the league to then now. That's going to be huge. That's going to absolutely be huge on his overall long-term future with the Packers, but also then just the Packers' success overall, because this division is gettable. I think the Vikings are overrated. I think the Lions are the best team on paper, but hey, it's the Lions. They have to prove it to us to win. And the Bears are the Bears. So I think the Bears have improved, but that's not saying much because they were just absolutely awful last year. So I think that there's an opportunity for Jordan Love to really show what he's got, and his overall play is going to be the key contributor on how far the Packers get this year.
And I think that's a pretty easy one to say just because of it's the quarterback position, but I think you look at Aaron Rodgers' numbers last year, and they're pretty pedestrian. I mean, he has a 64.6% completion percentage, but to me, I think that's the most unattainable of his numbers, right? He only threw for 3,700 yards, 26 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, right? That's not otherworldly numbers, right? And so for me, I think if Jordan Love can come in and do close to that, Packers were already in playoff contention last year. They just had to beat the Lions, right? I think this defense will definitely be better. They severely underperformed in 2022. And Yeah, I think you look at it, and this is a better team in 2023 than it was in 2022, just based off of people getting healthier and rookies developing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I like what they have going on here. I think it's a pretty good team with a quarterback with some question marks. But again, if he plays like he played in that Philly game, this could be a team to watch out for. And we mentioned this in the Bears video, but the NFC is not very deep, right? I think you have one team in each division that looks to be a little bit of a powerhouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
This division may be a little less than some of the others, but the NFC is wide open. I think wild card spots will be up for the taking.
Yeah,
for the most part. So, and I think it's going to be up to Jordan Love to get the Packers there.
Yeah.
So,
well, even then, he's just younger. His arm looks more lively, and you're absolutely right when it comes to the perspective. Like, if you give me these numbers right now, maybe some less interceptions from Jordan Love, but at the end of the season, be like, oh, it's a pretty successful season. But he's had a huge advantage, though, I think, coming into this year than what Rodgers was last year, just because of the overall receiving room. And we saw what Christian Watson can become by the second half of the season. He was one of the best receivers in the league, and you can see the overall potential that he has. Then on top of that, they would just keep throwing weapons at him, adding Luke Musgrave, adding Tucker Kraft, adding Jaden Reed. And then you have Romeo Dobbs, who's going to be their much more possession, consistent receiver type guy. You have Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon in the backfield. Yeah, it's just going to be can you just show that you can do the job? And I think he could do a 4,000-yard season. I think really just kind of get his feet wet, get a full season of starting under his belt. And who knows, maybe they can make the playoffs as well, because it's going to be interesting to watch, to say the least.
Yeah, no, and I'm going to be very excited to see it. I always love watching new quarterbacks come up and see how they can do. So let's go ahead and wrap up this episode of the Tracy Take here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. And while you're down there, leave a comment and let us know what you think of Jordan Love. You think he's going to be great? You think he's going to fail? Let us know down below. Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.